Talks continue. Nothing new. Same comment that has been made multiple times before. Thanks.
Expect to have any news soon on AJ Preller's status going forward?
Yeah, as I said recently, that's a conversation that's happening between John and AJ this offseason, and I think we continue to remain confident that AJ is going to be our president of baseball operations past 2026, and excited to continue to build on the success that we've had here together.
Well. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Marty Time TV. I am Marty Caswell. What a great day, because that is Darren Smith. We are brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. And yes, that was Padres CEO Eric Grupner. Delighted to talk to me because I'm asking him the same questions. What's going on with AJ Preller's contract extension? If I see him at FanFest this weekend, I will ask him the same question again. D. Smith, how are you today?
Marty, I'm doing well. Thank you for the invite. Can I just ask, have you called Barry Bloom yet?
Oh,
since Barry Bloom did on social media on X say, call me. Have you called Barry Bloom since last we chatted?
Now, wait a second. Did Barry mean me or did he mean you? Because that whole story about John Moore's
tweet.
That was your story, though. That was your story on John Moore's and that weird Joe Lakeup thing and his interview on the Padres' alleged debt. So you know what? When this show is over, I will give you his number. You call him, and then we get together next week or this week or whenever we do this, you'll have some news.
Okay. I think that's probably a good practice, by the way, to actually call people and maybe get a comment when it's warranted. Yeah, I think maybe that's probably good journalism behavior. I would say that's probably just something that is one of the core tenets of capital J journalism, Marty. Credit to you, by the way. So can I just, I don't know how many people will pick up on this. Okay. And I don't mean to hijack Marty Time Television here.
No, please.
But you just played 2 clips of you asking Eric Grupner pretty much the same question. One of those was at a press conference. Where was that second one?
Oh, wait. The second one or the first one? Because the
first one was the press conference, I think, for the introduction of Craig Stammen, if I'm not mistaken.
The first one was the Miracle League, which was
I have this backwards. I'm thinking chronologically.
No, okay. So then the second part of the clip was at, I think, Craig Stammen's presser. Mm-hmm. And I asked him then, because he was present, as was AJ Preller, as was John Seiler, who doesn't speak to us, but Grupner speaks on behalf of him, which is why I'm asking him the questions about AJ Preller's future.
Right. And then this was a philanthropic event just this past weekend where you go and you're like, hey, everybody's here to promote Miracle League. And there you are. Hey, what's going on with AJ Preller? What's going on with the contract extension? I just want to make sure that I have this right here. I would guess somebody probably was like, Marty,
get out of here.
Really?
Go away.
Like, really?
Hey. Just
is this really the time for that?
It's the time, because the time is when someone's available. That's when you make the time. By the way, I do want to say it was a tremendous event at the Miracle Field. And Darren, here, it's a name that you know. You remember the name Dan Engel from way back in the mighty 1090 days. He was a constant, always on the show promoting Miracle League. That was your second field. Joe Musgrove was Joe Musgrove, Jackson Merrill, both there. They both gave their own money towards his field, and Grupner was there. So just so you know, it wasn't just me, because your boy Kevin Asteen, I'm sure we'll get to that story shortly, he was there also, and he wasn't there necessarily to write about the Miracle League, although it's a wonderful, wonderful story. He was there to talk to Joe Musgrove, who was there about his recovery, and I'm sure speak with Eric Grupner, because they had a conversation as well. So.
Okay. But yeah, I will say, I think it should be appreciated. I saw somebody giving you a little bit of business on social media, like, oh, how could they not have asked about X or Y or Z? I'm like, I don't know that this was necessarily the setting for that. This wasn't a press conference where everybody was there and somebody was there specifically to answer questions about ownership or about AJ Preller. But credit to you. This seems to be your white whale that you will just keep asking about AJ Preller until we know definitively one way or the other, is he or is he not going to be extended? So like you said, FanFest is this weekend. I did not realize that.
FanFest is Saturday, Darren. It's Saturday. I'm curious to see what kind of buzz there's going to be at Petco Park around this team. I'm curious as to what players are going to be in town for this. I mean, you never know. It's like some guys make it, some guys don't. Maybe there's visa issues, and maybe, I don't know. It's kind of a really, really strange off season. So I want to see who's going to be around. Will Manny Machado be there? He's usually been there. He's been, the face guy. I think Tatis is going to be there because I believe he has an event in San Diego on Friday launching his own foundation, which is interesting. Yeah, that's really good that he's more giving back towards his San Diego community. If he can stop posting these exotic videos on the Insta, him in his swimsuit, swimming slow motion in these beautiful green waters. So I would think that Tatis is going to be there. You saw Jackson Merrill and Musgrove; they're always out about in the community. So I'm looking forward to it. And by the way, Eric Grupner, if you're watching this, if you're there, I will be asking you the question about AJ Preller's extension. And I didn't only ask.
This is now your thing. This has just become your thing. You just will be on this mission all week long.
It's just, I think it's a rather important story. I think it's a rather significant story, the future of your president of baseball operations, because it was back in November, they said that a deal was imminent, and hey, it could be end this week, and nothing has happened. So I kind of want to know.
Well, good for you. I don't know I don't know if anybody gave you a little bit of side eye on that after you asked that question, but good for you for at least sticking your camera in there and getting something that was completely unrelated to the purpose of the event.
Okay, no, but there was no side eye. There was no side eye, and I know I put only that clip out on Instagram and the Open, but we did speak about the Miracle League. We did speak about how remarkable it is that Jackson Merrill, at such a young age, he's a guy that gets it, putting in his own money. I asked him, question about FanFest, what to expect, and then I did ask him, can he reveal the primary color of the new City Connects, which he refused to do. So got a lot in there, Darren.
There you go. All right, good. Go find that at Marty Time Television. I am sure. Yeah. Well, good for you. Like I said, I just feel like you can just keep asking this question and take ownership of it as well. How many times will you ask this question this weekend? It's not just going to be Eric Grupner. Will you just ask every single player about AJ Preller's contract extension, or will it just be limited to executives who might actually have something to do with it?
I think it depends on the player. Like, I think you would ask a guy like Manny, who's tight with AJ Preller. I think you ask a guy like Tatis, who's very, very tight with AJ Preller. If Yu Darvish is there, and why wouldn't he be there? Because he hasn't retired yet. Then I would ask him about.
Has he reneged on that? According to Sports Illustrated, that was the headline that I read just yesterday. That Yu Darvish has reneged on his. You know what reneging means? Like going back on a promise to retire. Yeah, that's an unfortunate side effect. That's an unfortunate byproduct of the reporting over the last couple of days. I hope Yu Darvish is there. That would be nice. Always great to see Yu Darvish.
I think he'll be there. He's been at a ton of community stuff. He gets it. So yeah.
All right, good. Well, I'm glad you had. And it was nice to see you. I actually saw Marty in person, not just here on Marty Time Television. I saw Marty in person on Saturday. What was a really very classy and a well done event at Petco Park. The memorial for Randy Jones, I thought was really phenomenal. And I'm not just saying that. I went with Leah. I went with my wife, and she's sort of hit or miss on sporting events. She knew what Randy meant to me, and I don't know that she had it in crystal clear focus. What that show meant to me in my life, but she's somebody who has a tolerance, like a lower tolerance than others for a lot of like sports kind of stories and such. And she thought it was tremendous, and bittersweet, obviously, and heartbreaking, and getting a chance to connect with Marie and Jamie and Stacy, the daughters, and just see them, because we were so involved with that family, not just with Randy, but Marie, Randy's wife, and daughters used to come to all of our BP shows. Yeah. And like they, where they went, the party followed. And we were certainly right there with them for a lot of those moments. So it was just great to connect with them again. And unfortunately, the circumstances being what they were, but it was nice to see you. I thought it was a great event. So credit to the Padres, really. I think they call it the PPE. Is that what they call it? Petco Park Events. The PPE crew did from the time you walked in as an invited guest, not as a member of the media, Marty had her own separate corral.
I do. I was in a corral. They call it the media corral. We're like in a cage.
The rest of the dishonest local media. Those of us like it was very like they escorted you where you needed to be, and there was this great reception afterwards. It was good to see Flan and Trevor Hoffman. So many people. Yeah. Coach Quintera, who was one of the invited speakers.
I know.
And Ted, and I thought Jesse did a tremendous job having hosted a memorial in my life, I can tell you it is, trying to find that balance of what the right tone is of celebrating somebody, and also realizing, we're talking about somebody who's no longer with us. It is a balance, and I thought Jesse really nailed it. So great to see Tony. Like, it was just I just thought it was really well done. It was also nice to see you there as well.
They did a great job on that. They did. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. You hear these little clicks in the background because as you're speaking about who was there, and the great speakers, I thought Bob Chandler was fantastic, man. What a great Padres historian he is, talking about how just the numbers on Randy Jones too. But one of the first people that I ran into was Andrew Kashner. And he was like, he had like tears in his eyes. He was really emotional. He and Tyson Ross were there. And Kashner said, I don't think people understand how much this guy meant to me. He was like the biggest mentor in my life. Now, when he said that, I'm not sure if he meant like just the baseball life, which is your life, or just the career, but it was really, really cool that those guys, I haven't seen them in years at Petco Park, but they wanted to be there for RJ. So that was really, really cool.
I did not realize that either. And I can report too, as nice as that is to hear, Andrew Kashner's mullet is even better today than it was when he was pitching. So, that has not changed. That was just not part of his mound presence. That was not part of his persona. That mullet is still like a 10 out of 10. So that dude is still rocking it. And Tyson Ross looked good. So I mean, there were so many people and I thought, again, like, it just was the right balance of celebrating Randy and making sure, like, the acknowledgement of how much he will be missed. And I was thinking about this too, like seeing Trevor now, like Trevor's sort of the patriarch of the Padres. Like, can you be the patriarch of the Padres? I don't know.
Is he?
Well, is he?
I guess he
I
is.
don't know. I mean, it's not Dave Winfield.
Yeah.
It's not the right guy, but I mean, kind of is, isn't he? I mean, he's not he's certainly, there are other players that were around before Trevor, but in terms of presence and in terms of impact and in terms of, having a number retired, I mean, it's not number 6. It's not number 31. So, I mean, it's kind of like and it's certainly not to argue or debate that, Randy was more like, those are things that it's not the point.
He's a different era.
Yeah. I mean, what he represents, right? Like, what Trevor represents now is it's an important role, I think, in the Padres organization. So, and the right man for it, I don't know that, again, like wants this designation here, but I mean, he kind of is that guy now, and like Randy was that guy for as long as, I think Ted said it really, really well. Think about this is Ted Leitner. Ted said he never knew the Padres without Randy Jones. Yeah. And obviously that's doubly true for people like you and me who are younger than Ted. So, think about that. Like, you've never known the Padres without Randy Jones being, an influence, being an impactful figure in this organization. And now I think the same, I know there was a couple of years there with Milwaukee or what have you, but still like, that now becomes how people will view Trevor Hoffman. Like, you don't really know Padre baseball without this person being a part of it, so I don't know. I just thought, again, back to the original point, really, really well done. And, I know that there are plenty of times where people think that we're just a couple of haters here, but I think you can also give them a lot of credit when they do things well, and they do a lot of things well. And that was one of them. So credit to the whole, to the organization and to the family, and the reception afterwards was really nice. And, I mean, it was just, it was bittersweet, like I said, because we're talking, and this is just life, but it was bittersweet, but it was as well done, I think, as anybody could have expected.
It was, and the Padres wore the number 35 patch on their jerseys all season. So
which is great.
Yeah,
it was cool. It was a cool event.
It was.
And it was, again, nice to see you, which I think was my original point before I completely sidetracked myself.
Hey, by the way, before we move on to the next thing, happy anniversary. Happy anniversary, you and your beautiful wife. And I'm just thinking this right now. When I was at your wedding all those years ago, the first, no one cares about this, but the very first picture I ever posted on Instagram ever was from your wedding. It was me, you, and this young guy, Jordan, whippersnapper, Jordan Carew, standing up by a fountain. The very first picture on my IG, because you know how resistant I was to social media on everything. But I believe I launched Instagram at Marty Caswell 619 from your wedding.
Is that right?
Yeah. So
I
congratulations,
remember
Darren.
Marty also asking people at the wedding if she could take pictures to post on Instagram, and she was told
Yes.
flat out no.
Yeah.
People are like, Marty, I'm at a wedding.
Yeah.
Sorry,
like
this isn't content. You
plus
know,
this
this is not
IG thing isn't
content.
going to last. But I didn't
Yeah.
ask. I didn't, do any interviews. So
That's funny that's what you, I mean, that was 8 years ago. 8 years ago, Monday, hard to believe. Because
Yeah.
what I remember too is that Marty was leaving from Puerto Vallarta, where we got married, to go to
Mhm.
Minnesota, to go to
Yes.
Minneapolis for the Super Bowl.
Ooh, Minnesota.
And one of my inconsiderate friends threw Marty in a swimming pool in her
Mhm.
dress at
Yeah.
the wedding.
Brand new dress.
And Marty had to pack the soaking wet dress in a suitcase and take it to Minneapolis for a week of Super Bowl coverage.
Yes,
That's what I
to
remember.
broadcast in front of Shake Shack at the mall in Minnesota. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you missed
Good
out.
times.
You missed
Good
really
times.
Good
Good
times.
times indeed. Yes. Well, thank you for that. That was very nice of you to remember. Yes.
Yeah.
These are the memories that we get to post on social media.
That's why we have social media. All right, Darren. It's been a really weird news cycle with the Padres. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start on the Yu Darvish thing? Let me ask you this: what's the first thing you thought when you read that story by your friend Kevin Acee in the UT that he was going to retire and walk away from all those millions, $43 million?
What's the first thing that I thought?
Mhm.
Well, which version of the story are we talking about? Because I feel like the actual story has been changed a time or two, right?
Okay,
Like
the original story.
It was retirement at first, and now it's not retirement. And I did listen to Kevin, who went on 760, who went on the John and To Be Announced show.
Oh, okay.
The former John and Jim show. I did listen to it, and Kevin, I appreciate that he fell on his sword a bit in terms of getting certain things wrong, even though he stands by it and swears that he's right. And I'm right. I'm telling you, I'm right, and blah 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 blah. But it's a bizarre process, I guess, that AC has found himself in the situation. Like, what are the angles? We could talk about the journalism, or we could talk about Yu Darvish. There's different ways that you could talk about this. I think if you were to ask anybody, Marty, I don't know that you have to be an insider, respectfully, towards you or towards anybody else.
Sure.
To think that a likely outcome from all of this is that Yu Darvish and the Padres figure out a financial settlement, right?
Yeah.
A buyout, financial settlement, whatever that looks like. He's owed $43 million over 3 years. I don't know that anybody has really talked or written about, is there insurance on this contract or not? I don't know that anybody has answers for that. I think that would be something that I would like to learn more about, if there's insurance on this contract and what that could mean for the Padres. But given where he is, his age, his relationship with the organization, I mean, right? Wouldn't you agree that, like, most of us, if we were placing a bet over the last couple of months about what Yu Darvish's future looked like, we would probably put our money on some sort of settlement with a role in the organization. Is that right? Does that feel right to you?
Yeah, it feels right to me. Sorry, there was like a little delay here, and it's probably my Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi always sucks. But listen, Darren, I left last season saying goodbye in Wrigley Field, thinking that was the last time I was going to watch him put on a Padres uniform in a meaningful capacity, like after a game. All his comments about, I'm going to throw everything else I have out there, just let it all go, because this could be it for me. The doubt that he had about even pitching last season, there's no part of me that thought that he was really going to go ahead and pitch again. There was like a finality to it, especially having that surgery, missing all that year, the lockout, having 7 kids. One of his sons, Shohei Darvish, is going to pitch at UCSD. He's a huge family guy. Like that, I mean, you know that about him. It's important. He took unpaid leave away from the Padres, his idea, so he could attend to family. So you talk to people who know him well, who thought he was done. And so when I read that story from AC, I'm like, okay, yeah, absolutely. He's retired. This makes a lot of sense. This to me was an inevitable outcome, given his comments when, by the way, he had his event at Rady Children's, during the holidays. And I went there for that. And he's not saying, he didn't announce he was going to retire, but he made you think he was going to retire, talking to his teammates. I thought nothing of that until he put a statement out a short time later saying, I'm not going to retire.
And his agent, again,
Joel Wolf.
like And this is where I think AC is right to be criticized, that he did not, that it seemed like he was told something probably from somebody in the organization and went with it. But, like I joked about off the top, it's okay to like get some clarification from the person that you're writing about. Yu Darvish has earned that. And,
Yes.
that is again, listen to the first couple of minutes if you want. I'm sure you can go find it on demand of AC on with John Schaefer.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's him sort of, back and forth with himself. Like, I feel like I got the story right, but I shouldn't have said retirement.
So what word do you use?
Sort of
Graduated? Do you pull a junior say out and say graduated, or do you? Or
well, I mean,
not going to pitch under the current
anything.
contract for the Padres.
I don't think you say anything. I mean, why it feels, because now what it feels like is that Kevin is nudging Darvish towards some sort of decision. Like I said, because there are other, there's now consequence to this. Just before I logged on here, I saw like David Sampson, right?
Oh,
David Sampson from Nothing Personal with David Sampson, the former executive with the Miami Marlins, is doing videos. Jim Bowden is doing videos about this. I mentioned Sports Illustrated is in a headline saying that Yu Darvish is reneging on his deal. Like, that is not what is happening here. He is not reneging. But now, like, there's some collateral damage and there's a PR hit, because you have put out here that he is retiring, and people took that headline and they ran with it, which again is its own commentary about modern media, but whatever. But you are the source of this, Kevin. Like, you are the source of this. You are the one who has been writing about his contract. You are the one that has been writing about his potential retirement, only to have to backtrack and say, oops, I made a mistake. Like, these are things that you should have thought of before you wrote the story. This isn't to me one of those simple mistakes. Even like an example would be like the actual injury itself. I wish I had $1 for every time somebody said he had a second Tommy John surgery, which I don't think is the case, right? Like, I don't think that is exactly the case. Now, I don't know what the difference is between the surgery that he had, which is to repair a UCL, versus I don't know, but like somebody could point out like that's, he hasn't had a second Tommy John surgery. And you're like, okay, I understand though why so many people think elbow injury, history, Tommy John. But like, retirement is something, that's a really, really big deal, especially to a player like Darvish.
Beloved, who's huge, and not just here, but in Japan. Like, I don't think
that's not Kevin. He gets to tell us when he's retiring.
Yeah.
And that is just a massive F up, in my opinion, from Kevin, to do that to Darvish, who I think, Kevin has also, given some indications here that he's kind of, by not contacting Darvish or his agent, and some of the stuff that he had written back in December about the money, right? About, how it would be, the Padres think it's a welcome infusion if he were to step away from his contract, because they would get more money to spend for 2026 and beyond. Like, you're writing that on behalf of the team. And it feels that way. Like you are writing on behalf of the team, when that is really not what the role is of a journalist. And, I think he finds himself open to a lot of criticism that he is invited, I, again, give him a bit of credit, because he said, hey, I made a mistake and I might've undermined the story and I feel bad, but I'm right, but I'm still right. And it's like, yeah. Okay.
Wait, pause for 1 second. When you say that
he
felt bad about what? About not contacting, not getting a quote either way, on or off the record, or using the word retirement, because he is standing by the fact that he's told the pod. Here's the thing. Do you think there's any doubt in your mind that Yu Darvish told the Padres he will not pitch again for them with this contract, and that he is going to leave money on the table? Because I don't dispute that part of the story. It seems like the biggest thing that's bugging AC is that he used the word retirement rather than resettle or rehome or renegotiate or something else. But he is not going to pitch again for the Padres under the current terms of this contract. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like that's, that's the most likely thing. But, nudging a guy towards retirement now and sort of tipping the scales a little bit is not really what the role is of the reporter.
Right.
And, I feel like there's just been a couple of, a couple of things that have been written here, which suggest that he is nudging somebody in a certain direction. And I don't feel like that makes me feel icky. Like that makes me feel a little bit icky on his behalf. And I don't know how he feels, again, I just watched the interview that he did with Schaefer, and he's like, oh, well, Darvish has vacillated. It's like, well, yeah, of course. We're talking about the end of his fucking career, man. Like, pardon my language.
It's okay.
But like, we're talking about the end of this guy's career. Like there's that great saying in sports that athletes actually die twice, like they pass away at the end of their life, but they also, like, when their career ends, that it's such a massive moment and experience in their life. And like, that's what he's trying to wrestle with, to figure out whether or not he is ready to say that he is done pitching. And then he doesn't sound like he is ready to say that because he's just at the beginning of his rehab. Now, maybe he doesn't want to go through all the team rehab stuff,
but
which
listen,
he would have to do if he's under contract. We all understand that. And maybe he just wants to figure out a way to have a healthy life so that he can play catch with his kids at some point and not have to go through the rigors of what rehab is like, especially at 39 for a Major League Baseball player, because that requires a lot. Like, that's a lot, and like, you are still under contract. So, you would still have to, so like, it's a lot to process, especially for somebody who's had such a long and great career and somebody who's as proud as Yu Darvish. And like, you just don't need somebody putting their foot on the gas pedal like that, like Kevin Acee did. And I don't know. I just, and again, like the consequences of writing that now are that you get, headlines like Sports Illustrated, which you could ignore, but like, oh, he's reneging on the deal and blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's his announcement to make, it is not for anybody else to say, like, we're talking about the special relationship and bond that he has with the organization via Peter Seidler, AJ Preller. And like, you don't get to just add an accelerant to that. Like, that's not, I don't think that's the way, especially when it's not accurate and you haven't even thoroughly vetted the story, like asking the agent and player about retirement. So I don't know. I mean, I'm with you. I think at the end of the day, Kevin's probably going to be like, well, hey, whatever.
Right.
He's not pitching again under that contract. And like, we all kind of sensed that was the way this was going to go, that this was the direction, whether that would be my advice or the union's advice or his agent's advice or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like it kind of, they made a little bit of a mess out of this. And, it's unfortunate now because now you have fans back and forth about what he should or shouldn't do. And like, well, now what's the delay? And now there's this weird pressure, and now he probably feels like, hey, wait a second here. Like, I should be the one who's steering this, not somebody who's, just taking half a story and running with it and printing a headline. That's not the way this should be done, in my opinion.
And if the Padres don't make a move and don't spend any additional money come opening day, and Yu Darvish is still under contract, people can be like, "What's going on? Why hasn't Darvish, given?"
Yeah, I mean, that's not great. The story that he wrote that I said last week when we chatted was, I mean, I'm off the top of my head here, but it chronicled how much money he had made in his career. It was like $200 and whatever million, and he's made a bunch of money in Japan. And the Padres really could use that money. And like, the Padres really, like, you were writing on behalf of the Padres there. And when you were like, the Padres would welcome that infusion of money, which I think was the exact line, you are writing what the Padres feel. And like, that's one-sided. And that's not, that's not Yu's problem. That is not his problem. What the Padres want, that is up to Yu Darvish to decide if he is going to help them get there. But that's his decision. And like I don't feel comfortable with him being nudged in a certain direction, which is what I said back in December. And it's what I'm saying here again today. But, again, it's, I still think that the likely outcome, Marty, is exactly what you said. I mean, there's probably some sort of settlement, some sort of role in the organization, and that would make everybody happy, except we've just like made this more, we've just made this a little bit more difficult and tricky because now it's out there in the public and people are yelling back and forth about whether or not he's retired, and his agent's got to respond and he has to respond. And it probably was not exactly the way that anybody thought this should have gone, but it's too late now.
Not the way Yu Darvish wants to go. Not the way Yu Darvish wants to go. And I wish I could show the footage of. I wish I could explain how big a star he is in Japan. I get it. He's not Shohei Ohtani level, but he is a massive superstar in Japan. So by the way, I was trying to ask Joe Musgrove. I understand it was the Miracle League. but you're there for a reason. And we asked about Joe Musgrove's rehab. You can watch that full interview at Marty Time TV. But I also asked him, like, do you think that Yu Darvish will have the same sort of role around the Padres that you had? Now, it's different because Joe Musgrove was coming back. There was no doubt. There was no talk of retirement with Joe Musgrove. His future was not in doubt. It was just a matter of, could he come back, for the postseason? But we know now he's coming back in 2026. But Joe Musgrove was with the team all the time. He was at his locker every day. He was on the field. He was in meetings. He traveled with the team. And I said, will Yu Darvish have that role? Just pay attention to his answer, what he had to say. Hang on 1 second.
I know Darvish. I know his passion for the game, and I know his desire to help people around him get better. But I have no expectation as far as what we're going to get out of him this year. And I don't say that in a negative term. I just say that as this is a decision for you. He's got his reasons why he's doing it. I think it's extremely admirable what he's doing. But I don't want to put any of my opinions out there on that. This is his decision to make 100%, and I don't feel a certain way about it.
You have to go with the pitching. You said at one point, 1 inning.
Yeah.
You didn't get there,
sorry. So that was Joe Musgrove. But what I found interesting there, he doesn't want to go ahead and speak for Yu Darvish, put words there, but he almost made it as a matter of fact. Yeah, he's not coming back, and it's admirable that he's walking away from all that money. So I just think that, listen, the reporting, there's a lot that has to be answered still. But again, I don't think it's in question that he does not pitch again for the Padres. And who knows, maybe he's 40 years old, lockout, he gets bored, 7 kids, get me out of here, right? And let me go ahead. I don't want to finish like that, being taken off the mound after 1 inning at Wrigley Field. I want one more chance, but and now I'm kind of rooting for that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you 1,000%. I mean, it sounds like he's arrived at least as at a decision, and like that is admirable, but it would be no less admirable if he chose not to do that. If he just chose to say, hey, listen, I signed this contract in good faith, and so did you. And everybody knew what the risks were.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would not hold that against him if he decided that he wanted the $43 million, which he is most certainly entitled to. But if he is willing to do this and, he is willing to, be comfortable in life with some sort of financial settlement and some sort of role and being around it and good, like, great. Like, I think there's, I mean, what does this mean? Is he going to get a statue somewhere? I don't, I'm not sure, but, I would say sometimes those things, maybe don't matter as much as people think they do. They feel like they're very temporary. People will appreciate what he does, but if they use that money and they go sign somebody who wasn't any good, the people will hate that too. So I don't know. I hope this is something where the organization, whatever it looks like in the future under new ownership, whenever that might be, I hope this is an organization with, if there's a new general manager or president of baseball operations that will remember that, because there is no guarantee that sort of stuff will happen. And I hope it is remembered and I hope it is rewarded, and again, I think it's also just about Yu Darvish. Like, man, if I'm under contract, then I kind of have to rehab like a big league player. Is that really what I want to do? Do I want to rehab like I'm a Major League Baseball player? Or do I want to rehab like a regular human being? And maybe it's the latter. Yeah. And then he'll see what it looks like in a year, and he'll see what it looks like. And if he feels good and he feels like he can give it another crack, then great, good. The game's better off with him in it. But again, like he has earned the right to go at his own pace on this and, not now have things tossed out there that seemingly have presented a speed bump that was completely unnecessary here from somebody who's trying to put the retirement label on him when that's not actually the case. And this could have been avoided with a simple phone call, but we are where we are.
Well, now I'm curious as to whether or not Padres will make Yu Darvish even available at FanFest on Saturday, because if they do, these questions are coming. And if they do, my question will be this. Is your decision to remain with the Padres in any capacity, whether as a pitcher or as a special assistant, based on AJ Preller being the president of baseball ops going forward? I know I asked Craig Stammen that question at his presser, and he said, listen, I asked, those are the questions I asked, and I expect AJ Preller to be here. All right, Darren.
Great question. It's a good question. Yeah. I mean, like, is your future in this organization, is it going to be directly linked and conditional with AJ Preller being the president of baseball operations?
So, what's going on? What is taking so long, in your opinion?
Don't know. Obviously, you heard the CEO, Marty, off the top of the show. Yeah, it's the same thing. Still working on it. I mean,
Okay.
it's the hardest extension ever. What is it?
Is
It's
it?
January 27th, and there is no. It doesn't seem like there's any. Obviously, there's some sort of there's some sort of hang up. Something, year, money, ownership, reporting. Who do I report to?
Okay, wait, stop
Control?
right there. You said reporting. When you said reporting, you don't mean reporters, like the questions that reporters ask him. You mean
No.
who does he report to? The hierarchy of the president of baseball ops with
Could be
blank to blank. Okay.
correct.
That would
Could
be
be.
surprising.
I mean, it could be any of those things. It could be all of those things. It could be financial. It could be length of contract. It could be who gets to. It sounded very much like AJ Preller got to pick his manager this time, even though there was some questions and some curiosity about that, about who actually would be the person who could hire the next manager. So it certainly felt like they gave AJ Preller the autonomy to hire the person that he thought was going to be the best candidate for the job, for better or for worse, with Craig Stammen. So he did seemingly have that autonomy, but maybe there's some other things that they, like in any contract, maybe there's some things that some hurdles that they can't clear. It certainly seems like that would be the case. Otherwise, what are we doing here? Or maybe it's just wait and see from Preller. Like, hey, I'm not so sure that I want to tie myself to this for multiple years when I don't know what it's going to look like. I'm not so sure. What if this thing moves? What if Joe Lacob comes in here and moves this? I don't want to, I don't want to go to Oakland. Could be.
Maybe he wants to be the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, except they just hired Joe Brady. They promoted him, which leads me, I'm sorry, I'm trying to transition to the next topic because we could talk for hours, which is why we're going to do this again, Darren Smith.
Okay. Thanks for the heads up.
Yes, just go ahead and clear your schedule. Let your wife know. But we're
it's clear. You have me for like a. We don't have another SDFC game. Our first one's in a week, so the season doesn't start till the 21st.
It's a week.
Yeah,
Holy
1 week
smokes!
from today. Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Yep.
Wow.
Competitive soccer match at Snapdragon Stadium 1 week from today.
Wait. I haven't even looked at the schedule. Competitive soccer match. So
yeah.
Is
So
it a preseason exhibition? How do you term this thing?
No, not an exhibition. There will be an exhibition tomorrow, Wednesday, against Club Tijuana. But this is the CONCACAF Champions Cup, Marty. This is another one of those. How you always used to say to Jordan and me, God, the soccer, it just never ends.
Never ends.
Like it never ends. It's just always happening. So you play your MLS schedule, 34 games against MLS competition, and due to their success last year, SDFC's success last year, they qualified for a continental tournament called the CONCACAF Champions Cup. They qualified for that. Very prestigious in North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. As prestigious as it gets. And they will be hosting a Mexican League team, a Liga MX club, next Tuesday at Snapdragon Stadium. Pumas, which is from Mexico City. They will play the first leg at Snapdragon Stadium a week from today, and then they will play the second leg in Mexico City 2 weeks from today.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and I do have a flight that has been flagged for Mexico City. I am contemplating going down there for $200, but maybe I'll wait and see how the first leg goes. But yeah, I mean, in season number 1, they qualified for this tournament, which is, again, as prestigious as it gets in North America. So they will be playing their first, not MLS match, but their first competitive match at Snapdragon Stadium at 8 o'clock a week from today.
8 o'clock.
See you there, I suppose. Yeah. I know it's a late one.
I would love to go because August has been wanting to go to Snapdragon. He loves the SDFC. He's big on dryer. So I'll do that. I just can't do 8 o'clock. I'll have to,
okay,
earlier game. How fun. That's great.
Yeah. Should be fun.
Yeah. Good. Then I look forward to getting more into that. By the way, has Manny been around the team yet or no? He's been
haven't seen him.
Not just, it's been quiet. He's off.
I haven't seen him since I saw him when the Padres got eliminated. I saw him out there at the facility a couple of days later.
Okay.
Yeah, he was out there. He was running around with the son. It was very cute. He talked to the team a little bit, and they all seem to enjoy him being around it. And just him, I mean, athletes operate on a different level. It's just a different conversation than it would be with you or me or anybody else. So it was cool. I mean, it was really cool. He was still really bummed out, from the Padres losing and getting eliminated by the Cubs. But yes, that is in 1 week's time. I felt like you were going somewhere else though with like Phillip Rivers or something.
Oh, I was right because I was talking about we were talking about AJ Preller having options, and I know you had something about him interest with the NBA. We know he loves the NBA. He's always wearing like his Knicks socks, these long socks pulled up, the Clippers socks. I'm joking. But Joe Brady I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Phillip Rivers, man, where am I? It's the year 2026. We went from him coming back to play for the Colts, which was remarkable to watch, to interviewing with the Buffalo Bills. I was rooting for that to happen. You know, I still watch the NFL, not the way that I used to. I'll watch the playoffs, but man, him with Josh Allen with the Buffalo Bills, that'd be reason enough for me to go ahead and just make the Bills my team. What do you think about that? That's crazy.
I thought it was crazy, honestly. I like crazy and I don't feel great about it kind of way. Just
On coaching
because
or playing?
Coaching, becoming
Okay.
a head coach. I mean, that
Maybe
just
he's
never
like
happened.
inspired by Craig Stammen.
Maybe baseball's a bit different, and basketball, I think, and soccer. These sports are a bit different. Like football is the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. What's his name? Mike McDonald or something like
Yes.
that. All right.
Yes.
You know, I follow it less than you do, but I saw this clip of him and he was talking about what his weekly is like, his routine. He's like, yeah, I got like 30, 45 minutes on Thursdays where I go and see my son. I'm like, wow, okay. It sounds like a crazy lifestyle to me. And now multiply that by 10. Imagine if you had 10 of those kids. Yeah, I just was like, it just is. There's no history of anybody doing this for a reason. And if you made me bet on somebody being successful at it, I would, certainly think that Rivers would be a candidate, but it's a lot. That's, these NFL guys are like not healthy people. And like, I just don't think, I don't know. It just didn't feel like it was a great idea for anybody, in my opinion. But maybe someday. Don't you have to at least be a coach on a staff at some point in your life before you just get these role? Like, when has this ever worked before? It hasn't.
I mean, he's coaching high school football.
Yeah, not the same.
Dealing with angry parents.
Yeah. I mean, in some ways, maybe it would be, different, but I just think the amount of commitment from these coaches is it's like 20 hours a day, like, and remember when Steve Spurrier, the like longtime college coach at Florida, took over in Washington. He's like, man, these coaches in this league, they're crazy. Like, I'm going to put in about 8 hours. I'm going to go play some golf.
Mm-hmm.
He got run out of that league in a year, like it just wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
So, it's just a different beast there, man. Like I appreciate that he was open-minded to it and I guess gave it a run, but I just thought it was crazy.
I was rude. It is crazy, but to your point, if anyone could do it, it would be him. And he said, like, humbly speaking, as humbly as I can say it, I know how to coach. Like, I know what it takes to go ahead and be a coach. So when he says that, is he learning more from Norv Turner as his head coach? Was he learning from the Mike McCoy era of the do's and the do nots? Was he learning?
I don't know though. Does he? I mean, like that's one of those things where now, like we asked that about Craig Stammen. Like, in baseball's totally different than football.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because again, baseball sometimes is just about the vibes. You're there to like keep the vibes of the clubhouse. There's only so much X's and O's that you're actually going to do if you're a baseball manager. But in football, it is all about that. It is all about the practices and such. And like being a great teammate doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a great head coach.
Right.
Like, again, that's another like, when is that exactly worked? So I think there was a lot of things working against him. I mean, if he wants to do it, great. I hope he gets the opportunity to do it somewhere on down the road. It just seemed like it was a lot happening in a short amount of time, and maybe better for everybody to take a deep breath on that one. And, you don't just go from, hey, I'm unretiring. I'm going to play 4 or 5 games with Indianapolis, and now I'm going to be the head coach of the Bills. Like, who's ever had that kind of 3-month stretch ever? Nobody. So,
do you think he got high? I mean, not high. Do you think he like felt a football high from like being back in the game? It's like, listen, I can't come back at 45.
Maybe he got high on his own supply. Maybe he's like, the way everybody responds to me and all that sort of stuff. Like, this is what I was born for. I don't know. From where I sit, which is a million miles away from it, Marty, it just seems like it's such a leap to get from where he is to where that job requires you to be every single day. Again, like, this coach, again, maybe it's eyewash, but the coach of the Seahawks is just like, I like 30 minutes from my kid. You're like, oh, okay, that sounds miserable. But, this is what
Rivers' kids are grown. Like, well, no, actually, they're not. He's had some recent ones, but The majority of his
They got
kids are
kids all
grown.
over the place.
He's a grandfather now. Last thing on this. Do you think it'd be easier to be a first-time coach with no experience at the college level or the NFL?
I mean, probably college, because again, you can hire people there's general managers now that can do a lot of that work. And,
The portal work.
you can go out there in college. You at least have the time to go out there and play golf with boosters and, collect a bunch of money and bring money into the program so that you can spend it on NAL and stuff like that, and fundraise. The pros is just like so cutthroat. I mean, think about it. Think about the guy that just got fired from there, right? Like, think about that. Like, Sean McDermott was a pretty good coach. Like, that guy got fired. You know what I mean? Like, these coaches, Mike Tomlin was like, okay, this isn't working.
Never had a losing season.
Yeah.
He was just done in Pittsburgh.
Probably. And, maybe a good idea for him to take a year. But, you just think about like what this, what the job does to people. Like, I don't know. Like, it feels like guys that have spent their entire lives angling for one of these positions. Sometimes, they're gone before you even know it. And like I said, I would have rooted for it. 100% I would have rooted for it. Like you. Like, I thought it would have been amazing. And I would have listened to a lot of those press conferences because he's great at the podium and he would have had everybody eating out of the palm of his hands. There's no doubt about it. But that only takes you so far. Like, if you're in an NFL locker room, you're like, well, what is this dude? We respect his career. We respect the way he was revered by teammates. But what does any of that have to do with him being able to get us to a Super Bowl? And that's really the only thing that matters to the Buffalo Bills and to Josh Allen. And, I don't know. I had my doubts.
Okay.
That's all.
I don't think he's done. I think we're going to hear his name again in the news cycle, whether it's going to be a media, maybe he'll be an analyst in the playoffs, podcasting, something else. But
podcasting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he should be a featured guest on Marty Time Television once a week.
Oh no. Darren, are you there?
I am here.
Okay. Did I freeze? Was that my crappy Wi-Fi? It probably
Maybe.
was. Oh, I moved and I knocked this out. Okay. Well, listen, this has been fun.
Big week, Marty. Big week, by the way. Are we? Will we see you at Rockies this week?
Oh, I haven't been to Rockies in over a year because number one, they kept that great outdoor patio, right, ever since COVID, but they don't even let kids on the outdoor, which is why you'll be at Rockies. But kids aren't even allowed on the outdoor patio. But I would love to.
My kind of place.
I know it's your kind of place. And I hope. Yeah. By the way, are you bummed? This is kind of it for farmers.
Is it though? I don't know. Is that
PGA? No.
I feel like that's not official, but yeah, Steve Sands is in town, so we're setting up a burger date at Rockies.
That's awesome.
Marty's invited. No camera though. You got to leave your equipment at home. I hope it's not the end. I mean, I think it's interesting that a guy like Brooke. I mean, golf is sort of, golf's kind of become like college sports where you're like, man, is the future really better? Is this better than it used to be? With live guys coming back and Brooks Koepka. I mean, it's just the sponsor, I think, that's gone. It's not necessarily that the PGA Tour has said that Torrey Pines isn't going to be part of its rotation, but they are going to be trimming it down. So I hope this isn't it. I think that this is this is obviously a course with a history that is worth saving and worth being a part of the PGA Tour's future. So I hope this isn't it, but like a lot of other industries, Marty, it's just it's a different universe than it used to be. And you have to do things a bit differently, but I really hope not, because, that's been around for almost 60 years in San Diego, and some, whether it's been Tiger or recently guys like John Rahm and Xander and, so many greats and the history of the 2 US Opens that have been there. And San Diego has become an amazing event, and credit to our friend Marty Gorsuch for everything that he's done for turning this into an event that just doesn't appeal to a bunch of golf nerds, but seen like a real social scene in San Diego. It brings a ton of money into the local economy. So, as a former city councilman once said to Jack Cronin to me on Koga, we basically have two things that make money for the city of San Diego: the convention center and Torrey Pines. So, I hope this isn't one that goes away, and that they can just find a new sponsor, and the PGA Tour, with whatever it looks like moving forward, will figure out a way to keep this tournament or a tournament at this golf course around, because it would be a shame. And, I think I'm certainly speaking for a lot of people around San Diego that it would be, you just sit there with the sound off and you just watch the people paragliding around the cliffs at Torrey Pines. Like, oh, wow, that's amazing.
By the way, this is a Chamber of Commerce week, though, for anyone who's going to Torrey Pines. So it's going to be beautiful. All right, listen, when you're at SDFC tomorrow, make sure that you are putting your footage, pictures, interviews on the Twitter at D Smith Show. Same name for Instagram, right?
Yes, I think that's right. I had an Instagram account that I had to abandon. But
which one? Why were you hacked?
There's another one that something happened. I don't know.
Okay. Then, okay. That's right. But okay. Are you still in Blue Sky or no?
I am, but it's not a place that I don't do a lot of posting.
You got to do some posting. Come on. Sell yourself.
Yeah.
Come on. Put on a t-shirt. Sell yourself. Let's go.
Yeah. Just what everybody wants to buy, a t-shirt of me. Marty, thank you for the invite. Give Barry Bloom a call.
Okay, I will. What do you mean to ask him? No, text me.
What do you want? Just say what did you want?
Call you about what, Barry? Yeah. What did Darren get wrong? That'll be my lead question. What did Darren Smith get wrong on this? And by the way, who called you? Did you call John? Did John call you? John Morris said it. So, what's going on there? Tell us. What are we missing here? Why are you writing a story? Why are you painting Joe Lake up as some sort of relocation threat? What's that all about? All right. Next time I talk to you in this capacity, I will hopefully have an update from Eric Grupner on AJ Preller's contract. We're going to update this thing. Just keep asking. Just string together all these questions of you asking him about AJ Preller's extension. And I got to get a new light. My light sucks. What's happening? It's a good bit. It's just a good bit, Marty. I think you should roll with it until there's resolution. Do you think he's annoying? Do you think I'm annoying him? Yeah. Okay. All right. But that's your role sometimes. That's Darren Smith. I'm Marty Caswell. Thank you so much for watching whatever this is today on Marty Time TV. We're brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. If you see D. Smith out in the public, out in IB, out at SDFC, give him a hug. Talk to you guys soon.
What type of question is that, dude? My guy. How do I assess this season? We just lost. How do you think I assess this season? How do you think I assess it? I don't know. That's what I was asking. You tell me. Come on, dude. I mean, you could ask better questions than that. Let's go.
Team's been struggling. Did you find yourself regretting the situation more and more when?
Can you rephrase that question in a better way for me, please?
In a better way?
Yes.
Well, Are
you asking me if I was regretting what happened because my team struggled?
Well, when you're not out there, you can't help.
Is that what you're asking? Yeah. Okay.
Where are you on the Astros sign stealing scandal and the resulting punishment?
I wasn't going to be answering no Astros questions today.